presented by Vyasa Media Network.
Hi, Menuka. Welcome to Unheard with Saloni, produced by Vyasa Media Network.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How was your day?
My day, I had to babysit मेरो भान्जा, so it's quite hectic. But I'm happy to be here.
Okay, nice to have you here. So to start with, right, I think you spend most of your time with Duluwa Outdoors, if I am not wrong. Tell us more about the company.
Duluwa Outdoors. So Duluwa Outdoors, say it's more like a passion project of me and my friends. Hamro team, it's 5 of us, including me. We started 4 years ago. The intention, if I have to really say shortcut ma bhane, what Duluwa Outdoors do is we are women-led and women-only outdoor company. By that, what we do is we organize outdoor events like hiking, trekking, camping, and travelship for Nepali women-haruko lagi, and it's led by women. So we work with women guides closely. Plus, we also do external retreats that is very gender inclusive, but it's led by a women community or what. So that's our two approach. We've been doing it for past 4.5 years. So more around that.
Yeah. So you guys started it as Duluwa Talks.
Yes.
Yeah. This is back in 2019, right? In 2019, if you think about it, podcast was something which was just starting in Nepal, right? Hardly anything was happening. Today, there are so many more content creators, so many more podcasts. How was your journey then? What led you to start Duluwa Talks, which later became, combined with Duluwa Outdoors?
This class, I really have to say how we all met. So 5 of us, we were part of this community called Nepali Travelers Ko Solo Women Travel Challenge. So I was selected as one of the participants in 2018. Few of my friends were selected in 2017. So we all became part of an alumni community. And every time Amir Bedahiti, we used to talk about our own travel stories, not just solo travel related, but all travel stories pani share huntyo. And a different sense of empowerment or leadership feel when you're close to nature, when you're traveling. And 2019 ko Women's Day ko belama chai, I think it was 6-7 of us, we had posted it in our alumni group, be girls, let's do a walk from Basantapur to हामी चाहिँ Kirtipura गएको थियो कि we were just let's walk, let's have a good food, have a chat भनेर. Only few people signed up, so it was 6-7 of us out of 20 to 30 ko alumni pool ma. So त्यहाँ चाहिँ हामी 5 जना पनि थियो, including me. And same thing, we were talking about our travel story, हाँसिरहेछ, रमाइलो भइरहेछ. And फर्किने बेलामा चाहिँ it was mainly Juliana र Shanti in our team, they were talking about, do you listen to podcasts? And they were also yes, podcast is such an amazing way to just share stories or audio मात्रै हुन्छ, video होइन. It was not really famous त्यो बेलामा हैन, because हाम्रो टिममा पनि some of us knew about podcast, some of us had no idea. रेडियो सुनेको छ हैन, यो podcast भनेको के हो भन्ने पनि थाहा थिएन. And 5 of us चाहिँ informally हुन्छ कि unconsciously we knew that we were building a connection. Out of so many alumni, we were building a connections. And there was 3 reasons why we started to do Duluwa Talks as a podcast. Was first 5 of us really wanted to work together, because we were हामीहरु एकदमै बबाल केटीहरु हौं, हामी त 5 जना सँगै कामै गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने हाम्रो intention थियो. Second was there was a need for whole travel stories हरुको के मैले recent गरेको, because when I did मेरो masters recently पनि, so I did मेरो research on sharing success stories of women leaders in Nepal ma ke kinabhane मैले एउटा just गरेको study मा चाहिँ के थियो भने, because we talk about so much challenges that women face for leadership position, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ women are not in leadership position रे के. So जति challenges को बारेमा हामीले जुन literature मा हुन्छ कि कति कुरामा पढिरहेको हुन्छ नि, त्यसले गर्दा educate त भइरहेको छौं, तर that is holding women back to be leadership position भन्ने पढेको थियो के मैले. And that was for me something I couldn't relate to, किनभने म चाहिँ I've always been surrounded by women leaders, my mentors have always been women हैन. So similar case मा हामीहरुले पनि कति role models हामीले वरिपरि देखिरहेको थियो नि त. So we're oh my god, we have to change this. I know we need to bring out more women travel stories भयो. And third चाहिँ there was a good business potential for it because Nepal ma say only few were doing it. And I'm not gonna say that we're the very first one in the outdoor industry to do it, but we are very few one doing it. And so there representation पनि थिएन. So those were the 3 reasons we were like, okay, test गरेर त गर्नै पर्छ भनेर हामीले start गरेको, and it's been 4 years already.
So I'm going to go back to the beginning, which I feel because that kind of shaped Duluwa Talks. You're talking about the solo women traveler challenge. Does it still happen? What is this challenge?
Unfortunately, it's not happening anymore. I think 2019. So Miro Pachiko say there was like one more batch, and this was it stopped happening. It was done by like Nepali travelers. So we might have to like ask them why did they stop?
Yeah. So was that your first time when you traveled alone?
Oh my God, that was my first time like traveling on. I have gone to like my bachelor study ko lagi. I've been abroad for the first time. That was on my own. But I guess like travel. That was my first time. Mind you, I get motion sickness.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And this was to the mountains.
Yeah, so मेरो itinerary I travel for like 25 days ko lagi. I went to like Kanchenjunga base camp, Ilam and Dharanma. So that was my itinerary.
Right. How was it? You know, you mentioned this was your first time where it was travel, right? But before this, you did your bachelor's in Thailand. So, which was also, you know, traveling to a different country, different experience. What was so different about it? And this is you're traveling in Nepal, right? So you would think that you're traveling in your home country. What do you think was so different?
I think whenever I'm traveling alone, either it be traveling alone भन्दा पनि, I think whether I'm just like traveling like, you know, नेपालमा होस् या बाहिर होस्, I always feel this like sense of freedom in a sense that it gives me power to be like anyone, okay? Like I can be Saloni Gurung, like no one's gonna know, right? मेरो के हो identity भनेर, हैन? किनभने कतिचोटि चाहिँ when we are in the similar एरियामा हुँदाखेरि, like let's say ललितपुरमा होस् या काठमाडौँ, everyone knows I'm like Menuka Gurung. Everyone knows I'm like Duluwa Outdoors. So sometimes there's a label to your identity, okay? So when you're traveling, you can just be like anyone, right? So my first time when I went Thailand janda pani मेरो first study ko लागि जाँदाखेरि पनि I never saw it as like an achievement, okay? Because I think I have this habit of just like not giving myself enough credit. किनभने when I went to Thailand, I was like 18 plus. I'm almost like 19 थियो, you know, first time like plane मा चढेको, like no idea. हैन त्यो चाहिँ मैले idea very discounted के I was like, oh, everyone does this भनेर. Solo travel गर्दा पनि अहिले सोच्दा पनि I still don't give myself enough credit, but like as you're asking, and I think I'm just like coming to that you know, I'm more like a reflective person, and I think for me what was the most difficult was just like convincing my parents at that point was like very difficult for me, किनभने त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ I just came back from Thailand, but it was just like a couple of months भएको थियो. I was working in digital marketing space ma, किनभने मेरो mostly working background was working with a non-profit ma, okay? So Nepal आएपछि चाहिँ I was like I want to work like private sector मा काम गर्न मन छ मलाई, हैन? किनभने अब हेरम कस्तो हुँदो रहेछ भनेर I worked like digital marketing agency ma for a year, branding, loved it. It's really fun because you can like experiment so many things. But I was not giving back to the community. It's so hard to let go type ko. This is not my space, but I was still there like a year and a half भयो, and I just needed a break. And त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ solo travel को हाम्रो application open भएको थियो. It was like a long process. Like अहिले म सोच्दाखेरि पनि बरु म आफै 30,000 तिर म आफै जान सक्थे होला, तर you know, sometimes it's about the validation, and especially for Nepali womenहरुको लागि चाहिँ if let's say मैले मेरो मम्मीलाई त्यो बेलामा हैन मसँग पैसा छ, मसँग 30,000 छ, I'll go आफै भन्यो भने जान दिनुहुन्न भन्दा पनि there will be too much of पर्दैन. But then if I say म एउटा एउटा कम्पिटिसनमा भाग लिए, म सिलेक्ट भयो, मैले सबै फ्रीमा पाउँछ, म जानुपर्छ भने चाहिँ अलिकति गर्ला, but then she's not going to be like stop me.
Why do you think this is the case where, you know, like mothers or family members are like you know, they're both kind of same and you're going to the same place, but in one case, and I think it's more for women than for men, that in one case you're like hunsa, but you're not. Like, I don't know, have you ever thought of it as to
oh my God, I think of it all the time. I think, you know, when एकदमै young ageबाटै होला, I got really introduced to this like feminist values and then like this women community where I cross question everything like why यस्तो भनेर हैन. And growing up for me चाहिँ my father is like the oldest son हैन, and the oldest and the only son के, and हाम्रोमा चाहिँ म र मेरो दिदी हुनुहुन्छ के. So it's like everybody expected like, oh my god, एक्लो छोराको त छोरै हुनुपर्छ भन्ने टाइपको के. And this is like 12 years old me like coming to this reality of like when, because so my sister happened, and then when the second baby was they were expecting it to be a son when me happened. So no one was happy, right?
Yeah.
So 12 years old me, when I came to know about these things, I was just like, oh my god, no one was happy. So so different type like patriarchy आको जस्तो हुने हैन. About coming back to your question of like किन चाहिँ women are यस्तो हुन्छ भने हैन, especially हाम्रो moms are the like difficult one हैन. कहिले कहिले चाहिँ when I share these stories of like my mom not allowing me stuff like that, मान्छेले चाहिँ कसरी हुन सक्छ होला भन्ने हुन्छ के. But that's like the reality, and I don't blame parents either, because I think for a lot of the Nepali mothers, especially coming from our like middle class upbringing, but not even born and raised in Kathmandu, but उहाँहरुको लागि त घुम्ने भनेको त it's a privilege for them. कि हाम्रो लागि पो अहिले आएर it's घुम्ने is like, oh, I need some like a getaway. I know I'm not feeling the vibe. I want to go. I want to change the वातावरण type को. It's different. For them it was like a very privilege. My mom used to talk about first time काठमाडौँ आउँदाखेरि like scam गरेको, ट्याक्सीमा धरेर घुमायो 2-3 राउन्ड घुमायो अनि पछि कति धेरै चार्ज गर्यो, like all those stories हरु. So she've never had like a good travel experience हैन त. And I guess for women we just have to like fight for it, like to prove it. So for me, like I proved my mom that it's a competition. मैले free like in a way I guess like financially पनि I guess they think a lot, especially for my family चाहिँ हैन. If तिमीले आफै support गर्न सक्दैन भने त we can't also support you. तिमीले आफै गरे पनि the safety को so many things comes. And I do tell that it's also about like individual पनि हो हैन त. तिमीले आफैले let's say मैले कहिले पनि like घर बाहिर पनि गएको छैन. I'm not like like extrovert भन्दा पनि I don't really have a good interpersonal communication skills छैन भने, अनि अहिले आएर पेरेन्ट्स लाई गएर म सोलो ट्राभल गर्न जान्छु, or म let's say सोलोमा घुम गर्न जान्छु, or I'll go कञ्चनजङ्घा बेस क्याम्प. That's very security को हिसाबले पनि doesn't make sense हैन. But for me I was like been abroad and everything, but still there was a huge challenge for me. So I think it's just a mix of like societal restriction, safety of women in Nepal. So all those factors.
Before we move further, there was just something you brought up, right? Like when you were 12 years old, you thought about patriarchy or feminism for the first time. Do you think there was something that switched, or something that happened then that throughout your life you are either trying to I have to go against this, or I don't know, some sort of like behavioral shift that happened or something, thought process that opened for you then?
Yes. For me, I don't know. Growing up, I was like I said, because I was like the youngest one, like the very rebellious, the very chucho type of thing. And they used to always compare me to like son, like मेरो relatively huncha कि, or like neighbors. Oh my god, कस्तो छोरा जस्तो छ हैन. If I were a छोरा, I'll be like a लाउरीमा भर्ती हुन्थ्यो होला भन्थे कि. And I used to take like really pride in it कि, like oh my god, I'm the son my parents never had, and I used to like put this on me, like oh, it's a good thing. I need to bring out my masculine side. I have to like be good in study when the pressure, okay. But I guess like with time, like now I'm like almost 30, so that is not healthy. Like it is still not healthy for me, because I'm still like living up to their expectation. Like seeking validation type. This might be going to like the orca direction.
No, that is fine. That's fine.
Yeah, but I think it was more about that. What shaped me in terms of मेरो feminist value भन्नु पर्दा चाहिँ म class 12 हुँदाखेरि I was studying in TAV class 12 हुँदाखेरि, अनि त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ Women Lead Nepal भन्ने organization को चाहिँ they were just starting उनीहरूको programs हरु के. So they have this flagship program lead course भनेर, and we were like second cohort, like, and I'm talking about 2011 ko belama hain ta, second cohort ko थियो. They provide like leadership courses for high school ko girls like 12 class ko girls they select like 30 girls. We were second cohort ma, so it was more like a 2 weeks ko leadership program, and we had like follow-up sessions थियो हैन. अहिले चाहिँ it has expanded to like a really 1 year long commitment program. Like there's mentorship involved, there's so much more. अनि त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ म चाहिँ I wasn't sure like apply गरौँ कि नगरौँ भनेर, किनभने अब 2011 मा चाहिँ I remember मेरो मर्निङ क्लासेस हुन्थ्यो. तर त्यसपछि चाहिँ अब यस्तो खासै थाहा पाइँदैन नि त यस्तो कोर्सेसहरू हुने. अर पहिला चाहिँ आई थिङ्क के भन्थ्यो करियर काउन्सिलिङ यस्तो खासै इन्करेज गर्दैन थियो नि त. एन्ड आई वाज अल्सो नट स्योर अब गर्ने कि नगर्ने. बट मलाई चाहिँ सधैँदेखि डिफ्रेन्ट काम गर्न मन लाग्ने कि. I don't know, something. I just wanted to be unique and study different. This is my bachelor. So I studied entrepreneurship. त्यो बेला मलाई त मिनिङ थाहा नभए पनि हैन त. अनि त्यो बेला चाहिँ I applied for it. I got selected. And त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ that was the first time हाम्रो अब different collegesको girlsहरू हुन्थ्यो हैन. DAV बाट म र एउटा there was like one more person, she was more like अर्को batchबाट अर्को sectionबाट हुनुहुन्थ्यो हैन त. So त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ I think it was that opening for me, okay? Just not just about the feminist value, but just like being more confident, okay? So I still remember हाम्रो एउटा public speaking को session थियो, and then of course like when there's like a 30 to 35 जना हुनुहुन्थ्यो हैन त, and we were all like young, like I don't know, like 16, 17 ko, and there's of course like सबैको like favorite person, someone who has like potential like leadership त्यस्तो थियो हैन त. अनि एउटा I think speaker ले सोध्नु भएको थियो कि कोले चाहिँ यहाँ त who do you think has like leadership potential यता भनेर हैन त. So मेरो and then अर्को एउटा साथीको नाम आएको थियो कि, and then for me I was like एकदमै shocked त्यो बेलामा. I was like huh, me? कसरी भयो भनेर. And पछि there are still like few of मेरो friends, they still say त्यो बेला Menuka was so shocked. म when she was so because I was एकदमै shocked कि त्यो बेलामा, because I thought कि मेरो friendsहरूले they took my name because I'm just a friendly person, I talk with everyone, maybe त्यसै भएर लियो होला सोचिरहेको थिएँ. Whereas the other person who just majority of both I always idolize that as a good leader, okay? Someone who's very straightforward, like good proper English, very like you can feel the presence. Me on the hand, I'm just like just I'm very different. So I thought like mere friends are it because I'm like just a good friend. That's why they picked me your name, not because I have a good leadership potential. When I talked to my friend, they were like, no, you do have like leadership potential, bro. Maybe from like different or what because I remember the staff like her and that staff Menuka, you like, let's say I'm just gonna give your example. I'm not gonna say like, look at Saloni, Saloni just you just gotta like tone down a little bit type like and I tried for a couple of years and be like, I should just when I give session, just be very proper, I tried, but then I'm like, I cannot do this. I think that is just not me. Okay? Like I can get to the goal. I can like achieve whatever is the goal of the session, make sure like everyone is involved in my own ways, but I cannot adapt to this whole connotation of like, what's a good leadership, like a proper like feminine leadership, or I don't know. I couldn't do it. Okay? So I guess this I'm still adapting to that. I'm trying to find my voice of like, what's my leadership style. Eh? So Women Lead was like really that pivotal point for me to like know about my own feminist value. It really got introduced to this amazing like women's circle, okay? So katijana oh my God, I don't understand how females can be friends. And this community, I just cannot relate to them because, because I've always had like a lot of like women mentors or women friends. So yeah, I think that was the start.
Yeah. So Women Lead, since you brought that up, right? It's mostly for women who are in high school, 16, 17 years old. Like I've heard about it, but just to...
So they have like they do like a lot of things, but they have like a 2 flagship program. One is like lead course. Second is YWPLC. That's for like political literacy course. So lead course is for high school students or lagi, like women only. They have their office in Sanepa. So mostly morning shift bako students or let's say they can give time. There's like a 2 weeks long commitment and there's like an in-person session. And for YWPLC, for the political literacy course I think it's bachelor running or like above. There's like age criteria for that. I think it's 20 above, like 30 samako, but that's like more rigorous as well. But then there's like 2 flagship program. And पहिला हाम्रो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ मेरो ब्याचमा चाहिँ it was just like a 2 weeks long course and then तिमीले follow up session गरे पनि हुन्छ कि नगरे पनि हुन्छ because they were just starting. It was just their second cohort. तर अहिले चाहिँ it has really full-fledged and become like a year-long commitment, right? You have to take the 2 weeks leadership course, but then whatever you learned in that 2 weeks, you paired up with one of your co-leads and then you find like another school, like usually it's class 9 students and you give the same training or like, alko the tone down wala training but you have to fulfill like 100-hour credit. And then after a couple of months, you're going to have like a graduation ceremony. And there's so many other opportunities. You can be part of the alumni group. So I started as a participant, right? Later, I became like entrepreneurship fellow pani bhako thiye ma. Then I did like internship with them, and I was in the board ma pani I started as a board member, and then I became like a vice president. Now I do like still like facilitations open garsu, and it's been like quite a journey. But like the things that I got and learned in 2011, I just feel like so grateful that I always go back to the community. It's like 2024, I'm still involved in so many of their programs. I might run for president someday, but let's see.
How do you think you have grown during that journey, right? From a fellow to being a VP of an organization, right? That's actually a massive jump, right? And that also leaves, other women who are joining now or are part of it to see that, there's this whole leadership path. I'm joining today, but I might be able to, reach somewhere. They can actually see that when they see you. Like, what do you think has been your learnings with being part of Women Lead?
I'm so glad no one really asked me this question about like Women Lead.
It's been a long journey, 2011 to 2024 now. It's roughly about 10 years, like more than 10 years.
Yeah, oh my God.
And in so many different roles. Like for me, what's really interesting is the different roles you played, from learning from them to facilitating to even like being part of running the organization. So that's leadership right there.
Oh, thank you. I think for me, like when I was just like a participant and then like used to listen to like facilitator or like session or like staff I used to be like, oh my God, will I ever be in that position? When I'm like, I would call myself of course I was like 16, 17, oh my God, I want to like talk like them. So when I think about it, I am in that position. Kati panel discussion because I remember, I think it was like Women Lead who gave me that opportunity once I went Yakinetima. There was like a women conference back with it. That was the first time like going to like a conference and like listening to like mentors or I used to always think, oh my God, your position where I'm going to have my own business card and I'm going to talk with people. Because I used to just introduce myself as Women Lead ko alumni. That was just my identity, Now there's Duluwa Outdoors. There's like me as an individual, so much I can like offer, So for me, when I look back, it's an amazing journey, like to say it in like very short word ma. But it's been quite a battle, because more battle in a sense, overcoming my own internal challenges, this internal narrative of how I used to always see myself, how I used to always see my upbringing, and really overcoming that. I think that has been like challenge for me, and I'm like really happy about that. When I think first ma हाम्रो जुन Women Lead को sessions हुँदा पनि we were like just girls coming from like different colleges, okay? And my parents never got like a education, okay? They moved to Kathmandu once they got married, okay? So मेरो Bua was in Nepal, police ma hununthiyo hain ta. So they were born and raised in like Tono Bandipur ma hununthiyo, and they just like moved just because like mero Bua ko study ko Bua ko work ko lagi bhanera hain ta. So if my dad wouldn't have moved, then we would also be like हामी गाउँमै हुर्किन्थ्यो होला म र मेरो दिदी हैन त. So they are born and raised काठमाडौँमा हामी मात्रै भएपछि I used to always think like, oh, just such a humble beginning bhanau ki kasto. I used to always like belittle myself, and then we had like students from like St. Mary's, everyone had like really good like English than me and stuff like that. So एकदमै insecure feel hune के. And because I think हामीहरुलाई चाहिँ parents हरुले पनि, I don't blame them, but then they always associate and then put pressure when I say अघिको कुरा जस्तै like we have to do good, like you're the छोरा of the family, you have to be like education wise पनि म सधैँ like first student हुन्थेँ, अनि त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ like when you're first student भएपछि you have to pay tuition fee के.
Yeah, okay.
And then I used to have this pressure, like, oh my God, like class 6, 7, some point, I used to have this pressure of like, my God, I have to do like really good, because if I don't do well, then my parents would have to like pay for the tuition fee, and that's a lot on me. And then when I think of it now, 30-year-old me thinking of like all the mental pressure that I went through when I was like 13 or 14, I'm like, oh my God, like that was a lot on me. Maybe it has like really shaped my relationship with money. Like it has really shaped how I see like money. It has really shaped how I see privilege. It has really shaped like how I talk with people. And so I guess त्यो हिसाबले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ it's been like really interesting. I would say Women Lead was really a space where I found mero ikigai in a sense, like what I'm like passionate about. It still gives me a space to experiment, okay? And it is a space where I can like give back to the community in a sense that I mentor so many of the young girls over there, okay? So in a way, it's like it's healing the younger me. I know at that point when I was like healing myself, now I feel like I'm healing myself even more by interacting with these youth, or especially with young women. That's why I always say that, my working area is working with young women and females. That is not my comfort zone, but then it's just, that's where I belong. That's just like what I've been doing. And I think that's where I think I can give more impact, I know. So, yeah.
So, I think, when did you come back to Nepal from college?
So, UK bata ki
No, Thailand.
I came back after 4 years.
Yeah.
So, I think it was 2017.
2017,
or 2016,
right?
Yeah, 2017.
And then you were part of USYC in
2019, yeah. 2019, yeah.
So that's also something I want to talk about, right? I've been hearing about it quite a bit. I know quite a few people who are members of USY, alumni of USYC as well, right? So on what the organization is, how does it benefit, let's say, mostly women? And the one other thing which I would feel is very interesting for you is you've been part of a couple of social organizations, right? You've had the opportunity. And you probably tried your best and gotten in as well. As to how have you tapped on opportunities like Women Lead, USYC, and then, we'll come to like Chevening Scholarship. As to, there's so many times we think that, can I do it? Can't I do it? Or what is the ways to do it? Like, how have you gone about going after these opportunities and making the most of it?
Yeah.
So maybe we can just start with first, what is USYC?
Yeah,
and then
what
like
is USYC?
go into it.
Yeah. I think for me, I always actively seek for like opportunities, or I think it's on me, okay? Like every year, even for like 2024, I do have like a vision of like what I want to do. But like in terms of opportunities, or if I see something and if it aligns with what I want to do, I'll start like drafting it. I think it's interesting. Same with like USYC. So what USYC is it's United States Youth Council, Council, and it's, I think the age barrier is 16 above or 18 above till like 30 years. It's focusing on like Nepali youth, so it's very gender inclusive. It's not just like male, female, or there's like very sexuality wise, gender wise, and very diverse. Even Mira Bashma, they were like very diverse people. And I think from the recent pictures that I've seen, I think in terms of like people with like disability, and so many people are like coming in. So I think it's like really beautiful. So what USYC does is like every year they select 30 to 35. I think the quota can like differ from all over Nepal. It's like the youth coming in together. There's a certain stipend for projects. So like they gotta form a team, and then they have like funds or different sector ma. You gotta pitch your ideas, and it's a year-long commitment program. Also, there's like mentorship as well. You become like a part of a community, and that's how it works. For me, it was always about the community, okay? Because Matakan UK Thailand farkera aako thiए. I was like working also, and when this opportunity came in for me, it was like, okay, I get to really interact with so many youths of Nepal, kinabhane women ले गर्दा पनि and अरूले we do and different organizationहरूले गर्दा चाहिँ I think I work with like young women mostly, right? So I just thought this would be like a nice opportunity to really like diversify मेरो network as well. So that's how I got in. And I think it's a really great opportunity. So everyone out there, I guess if you're interested, if you really fit the criteria, do apply for it. It happens like every year. There is an application process, but they have like so many like resources to help you with that. And coming back to your questions about like all these networks, or like how
all these networks and all these social organizations, right? Because a lot of people think about it, but they don't even know, or it's within my reach. And you're someone I feel who's made full use of it in a positive way. So that has really helped you build your own leadership and, your own career from, where, back in school to where it is now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think it's also about knowing when it's the right time pani ho, because of course USYC ko one shot mein bhayo, even Chevening ko as well, and I might come back to that later. But Chevening scholarship, Chevening award, that's how they say. Chevening award ko चाहिँ के हो भने, it's like UK government ले दिने scholarship हो for master's program को लागि, and I was in that program last year. I was 2022-2023 को batch को थिए. हाम्रो batch मा चाहिँ I think there were like 16 of us all over Nepal, but we got scholarship to study in the UK, and it's such an amazing program because it's a 1-year master's in the UK, and you can apply to any university in the UK. You can apply to any course, right? There's no age barrier or
just
anything.
To interrupt, you get the scholarship first and then you apply to any college, or you apply to any college
parallelly. It's very like parallelly type. So application to university is very different. So you do that on your own, but then there's an application process just for the scholarship ko lagi se. And when you're filling up the form, there you have to like mention what are your 3 priority universities, and you can apply to any university, like any course and stuff. And for me, I applied for like 2020 ko lagi, but I knew about this scholarship like 2018 ma ke.
Oh, 2018 May.
I think like I had like few friends who knew this, and I think sometimes it's all about like social media. I feel like social media, there's like so many informations, or if you just like type like scholarship for masters ko lagi, something will pop up. Achieving pop up now, there's so many other things. So I had my eye open for it, and also my bachelor garda pani I got like scholarship, although it was like partial scholarship, and my family supported me towards the end. It was very difficult for me. Like that 4 years, I was like, I just want to like get over with it Bakote, because financially it was like very difficult for me. But of course, I met like so many amazing friends throughout that journey. And I think like growing up, just to connecting the dot is like I always put pressure on myself, okay, because I have to do this, like like I don't want to put pressure on my parents. So mero bachelor ko towards the end, I was like, if I ever do masters baira, I have to get full scholarship on it. Like मेरो दिमागमा थियो, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be picky. Like I'm not going to be like, oh, म यो college जान्छु, or म यो country मा जान्छु भने हैन. Any country that gives me like full scholarship, So I guess it's more about knowing where my finances is. The beggars cannot be choosers, but as a state situation, of course I know my potential, but at the same time it's very difficult like getting a scholarship, either if you're on merit wise or financial need wise. It's just difficult. I guess like 18-year-old me, when I was applying for like bachelor's in the US, first time I US class I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking very flowery, because I have this like women background for like मेरो age, like I was doing a lot, and I thought that I should get some scholarships that and then my parents they could not like support me, and at the same time realistically visa देखि लिएर so many जुन researchहरूको काम हुन्छ. You just need family support, and in family also, especially males in your family are like so important to like know okay यताउति गएर बुझ्ने and stuff.
Yeah, कति कुरामा it is like, oh, you want you want like men there, those government officers.
Yeah,
like,
just go like just see just go next to me and know information. Like when your dad was like also working Baira, he's still working Baira, okay? So it was just me, my sister and my mom. And my mom has no idea. My sister, like she has like medical background and it's just me like doing entrepreneurship and business. So I was like, if I ever do masters Baira, I'm going to get full scholarship. There's no way, you know? So Chiefning boy, I got to know about it in 2018 ma. I wrote application, like offline, but I just couldn't convince myself. I was like, my essay doesn't make sense. Like if I was reading this essay, I'm not going to select myself. I stopped it. I submitted because it's a very rigorous application process. But in 2021, that's like fast forward about 3-4 years. But I just knew that was the right thing. I was more well prepared. I researched about the university. I researched about the course. I was more certain about it, and then I applied and I got it. So I guess the point is, of course, there's so many resources out there, but sometimes it's just about like timing. I wouldn't say I was like lucky, but of course I tried my best. But just knowing when not to apply also, okay? I think that's like very important. Knowing not to be like, okay, opportunity there is, so must apply garchu ra be like, okay, let me filter down what is needed for me, you know, like checklist matsi, where do I fall? And if their priority is like marginalized community and people from like other sector, why am I pushing myself in? I'm going to apply because it's nice. But if they're saying that their priority is like marginalized community, just an example, yeah. I think that's where you have to like pause, you know. So yeah, I guess to be able to filter down opportunity there is, you know, because so I will look at my friends and be like, my God, you putting you know, someone might be looking at me be like, oh, Menuka Menuka, so I guess just knowing when to stop is also, I think, is very important when there's so many opportunities out there, just like what I say.
And Chevening is like full board, full tuition?
Yes.
Oh, so that's
Chevening, it's literally like they pay for any universities or like in the UK. For MBA, there's a cap. Right? This might sound like very Chevening promotion.
I was just like, oh, this will be interesting to know. So
yeah. So it's like even if it's your second master, you can still apply. Like, you know, second master, when you can still apply, because I've had so many alumni friends who this was their second masters. I know any university, they'll cover your tuition fee, they'll cover the flights, there's a stipend every month. So yeah, all they expect
so amazing for someone who really needs it.
Yeah, and then you just have to like keep an eye for it. Just knowing like मैले पनि 2018 मा थाहा पाएको थिएँ, be like, oh, I'm not ready for this now. But after a couple of years I'll be ready. You can still like go through the application process, you know, it's there. You can like, prepare yourself for like essays or interact with like alumni because recently I was in the interview panel and there was just like one girl, really amazing interview, but then towards the end we were like, this would be helpful for her after a couple of years, okay? Like she was good, but like not good enough because she was like a fresh bachelor graduate. In terms of experience wise, we just felt like, you know, after a couple of years she'll be like more certain about the course she wants to like study. And when we compare it to like our potential participants or when we have to like, compare, so I guess to hisabले पनि we have to think.
So it's looking for people with more experience as well, with the like not just a fresh grad.
So their criteria is you need to have like a 2 years of like working experience, and it can be
hardly anything.
Yeah, and then it can be like any like they count internship, they count like volunteering, like everything. I think for this specific applicancy, it was more about I'm going too much in detail, but I think it's more about like when we asked her example about her leadership potential, asked her about like networking and stuff like that. The answer she gave compared to like the volume and the scale was like not there yet. And that's when we realized, okay, her example of like networking and like leadership challenge to compare to someone else, you know, it was like the made very difference. Okay, and although her interview was like really good, we were like, you know, she will benefit from this like after a couple of years. And there was like one woman who came in for like interview. She was interested in child rights. She was interested in child rights. Lagi sto राम्रो अंग्रेजी पनि थिएन उहाँको हैन अनि she was like अलिकति nervous पनि हुनु भएको थियो हैन तर the way she was just like passionately talking about like child rights. Okay? Like we could just feel it. Okay? Answer ma the way upbringing family background and not being based in Kathmandu and stuff like that. So I would say like oh my god, these prestigious scholarship they have this takka pareko. I think like takka pareko leadership hunu parcha, ramro English, ramro wala. This ke hundaina ke. At the end, it's all about like how passionate you are about it. I think that's and how authentic you are. I think tyo belama that is very important. So if anyone is looking for like an master's program in scholarship, keep an eye on Chivering Award. They open next year.
Do you think that's something that's been worked for you, like being really passionate and authentic at what you are?
Yes. I think I don't come from a background where there's a lot of network. And Chivering ko specifically एउटा question थियो about Chivering was looking for like people with good communication skills and like networks, and can you give us an example of a time when you used a networking wala yara question थियो and I very specifically remember मेरो दिदी चाहिँ once she was applying for BS nursing ko like apply गर्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो कि, अनि त्यो बेलामा पनि it was more about who you know in the type कसले तिमीलाई चिन्छ नाम जिक्न लागि गभर्नमेन्ट कलेजेसमा जिक्नको लागि. इट्स मोर अब प्राइभेटमा त of course if you pay you'll get it, but then like of course government स्कुलमा त you want to get there, but it's at the end it's about तिमीले कसलाई चिनेको छ and I was very young त्यो बेलामा. I just like I think overheard their conversation and my dad just being a bit helpless and be like, oh like I'm just so sorry, like I just don't know anyone in the network, whatever. And it just broke my heart so much because she had potential, but then she couldn't get it because she didn't have the network. My dad didn't have network. And John, I took a route of going to like business. Management if science my sister would have like helped me a little bit, but then plus 2 देखि नै I was like bachelor my interest भएको भएर like there was like no one के मेरो network मा के. So त्यसो भएर पनि I think I've always been to high alert mode मा हुन्छ नि, like looking for like opportunities हरू के छ होला हैन त, किनभने अब कहिले चाहिँ you want to do it for others, you want to do it for what's होला नहोला, that's the thing, but then you want to do it for like, so it's easier for like your upcoming generations or like because I know the pain I know that help message when you don't know anyone in the network or like mentorship like this. When Duluwa Outdoors we always emphasize on mentorship like kids science like what do you think Duluwa Outdoors need? Of course paisa it'll be helpful and the rent lagi, travelship garnako lagi, but that's a very short term vision paisa bhaneko ta कसैले मलाई लोन दिराले or we'll just invest or खोजिन्छ हैन. It's a very tangible solution, but the mentorship कसैले चाहिँ हामीलाई के सजेस्ट गरिले हैन, you should do this हैन, तिमीहरुको स्ट्र्याटेजीमा यो ल्याऊ हैन, how about you bring in this investor, how about like this is how you strategize भनेर. So the mentorship को need चाहिँ मैले सधैँ देखिरहेको छु के, and I guess मेरोमा मात्रै नभएर then I see like अरु womenहरु पनि के they have this mentorship need. So many हरूलाई चाहिँ opportunity नभएर पनि हैन, तर so many women in outdoors नै like very high potential भएकोहरुको लागि चाहिँ there's so much opportunity for them, but then they just don't know how to like choose के. So उहाँलाई चाहिँ कसैले सजेस्ट गर्दै हुन्थ्यो हैन, मलाई यहाँबाट पनि अफर आछ, मलाई त्यहाँबाट पनि अफर आछ, कुन चाहिँ लिने टाइपको के. So challenges are like so various. कलकल चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ oh my god केटीहरुलाई थोरै opportunity भएर challenge भयो जस्तो लाग्छ, but there are like some amazing athletes and like women in entrepreneurship. There are so many options for them and expansion को लागि हो कि other options, so they just don't have mentorship for them ni ta. So I guess मेरो लागि चाहिँ networking, yeah.
So I was going to say, I have 2 questions just coming out of this, right? So one is, based on this, is this what has been the driving force for you throughout? That need to, I have to figure it out, I have to do it, or I don't know, like a little bit. I'm still like, I was just trying to decipher what is that for you? What's like the driving force behind everything you do?
For me, I don't know, like I just want to do something different type, okay? Like because this pressure, I'm still like letting go of this, being the chora of my family and like making like my parents proud.
I need to prove to everyone.
Like I'm still like seeking for validations because I think someone asked me like, Duluwa Outdoors ke challenges. Of course, there are so many challenges. Finance ko huncha ki, mentorship huncha ki, just like patriarchy ko huncha ki, so many challenges. For me as an individual, just this just to be able to get rid of this thought of like, oh, I can run a business, like, especially my family, my father has always worked for others. My father is in, he's a security guard still. So I've always seen it like that. So I business like business I was like very like, I mean, can I do it? Like, I'm not I know. So the like salary on bani bhako, and that's what I've seen. I know, but then like women lead jun mero age ma 18, 19 ma. I was in Thailand for 4 years, like living alone, taking decision myself. So the contradiction where I know mero there's so this world out there like waiting for me. Yet this humble start that I had, I know that's holding me back, like, childhood dekhine, do's and don't.
How do you deal with it when there's all this conflict in your head?
I write, I journal, I journal a lot. I think that like helps me figure it out. So what I've realized now is, of course, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say trauma. There's a lot of things that I'm also like letting go of, and just giving back to the community helps me. Like, I need to live, I'm not saying like purposeful life, but I need to be like passionate about the things I do. I know Duluwa Outdoors might not be giving me like a financial turnover, it might not be like helping me purchase my coffee every day or anything as such, but then it's the impact that we are making that that motivates me every day. And just knowing like, okay, I'm creating a community that I didn't have when I growing up, because the community network was like that's why I used to like hate rich people with like network. Like, why is it like unfair? Thailand, the first time I realized, well, oh my God, people in Nepal was like rich when I feel
okay.
Because there were so many
Nepal.
Nepal.
When you went back to Thailand,
yeah,
that's what
when I was in Thailand, because they were like plenty of Nepali students are on it, and then Nepal coming from a developing country, but then that time I realized, oh my God, no, Nepalese people are rich. When it was so feeling so I guess I guess also coming to this conclusion of like money is not the only thing, I guess traditional Nepali middle class background, we are focusing on like मेरोमा चाहिँ घर हुनुपर्छ, like we still live in like rent मा हैन तिम्रो ग्रोथ केले देख्छ, तिम्रो घर भयो भने चाहिँ तिम्रो ग्रोथ देखिन्छ के. So when I decided to come back from UK बाट चाहिँ म नेपाल आउँछु भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब हाम्रो स्कलरशिपमै फर्किनु पर्छ भन्ने थियो, and I've always wanted to come to Nepal के. I don't know, maybe women leadमा बच्चादेखि सानैदेखि इन्भल्भ भएर होला कि I've always wanted to be based in नेपालमा ट्राभल गरिनु हुन्छ. मेरो घरमा चाहिँ it was more about गुरुङको छोरी भएपछि there's like a connotation be like लाउरीसँग बिगर and all those things किन आउनु पर्यो बस भन्ने टाइपको थियो कि. बट मलाई चाहिँ like I don't want to live in a big country with a small identity where I'm earning a lot of money but I'm not giving back. I'd rather be based in Nepal and the financial there but I'm making an impact. So that was a very unconventional choice that I made, and I think it's like me coming back to this term with myself. Be like it's the way my parents see success, the way society sees success is very different from how I see success, and I'm still coming into that conclusion. Just like someone I say, coming into that peace. Just like say, you can't help but then compare
it's
yourself
like a journey,
with
right? So
compare with like other people and be like, oh, what you're doing, that ke bhairasa, and I want to be in that thingy. Say, oh my God, should I also be like ING ma kaam gartin kya ho, like 9 to 5 job so I can like travel? But no, I love my freelancing lifestyle right now. But also like like what is the bigger goal? I keep asking my partner,
right,
what is life?
Like
what is life? Like what do we want?
I was going to say, what's the most recent answer? Because I'm sure this answer always evolves, right? It's something that's always evolving. What's the most recent one? I'm
trying to think. Oh my God, my partner is he's a Buddha. I always say my partner is a Buddha. He does like Vipassana and stuff. I also do Vipassana, but then we are in different level. He's a Maki and I'm like very tall of like Vipassana. But what does he say usually? He's like, there's no answer to it type ko one. So he's like, you just do your best. Don't look for like, he's like, you can't change what others are going to think of you. You can't change what I'm going to think of you. So you just have to do like what you can do type ko. Okay. So I think that helps me a little bit.
I'm going to come back to this. Before I move on to, and I wanted to talk about Duluwa, right? Before we do that, you brought about women's mentorship, right? About how so many times they don't get it, they need it, you all are going about it. How have you gone about reaching out to people, asking for help? What has worked for you? What has not worked for you? Actually, in the bigger question, what has and what has not worked for you?
I guess regarding women mentorship.
Or asking women mentorship as in women seeking mentorship. It could be to men, women, any gender. But, asking for that help or asking for guidance. What have you done in the past? Because I think as part of your different organizations, part of your career, I feel you have been lucky to being able to find this.
Yeah.
But it's not like someone is sitting right in front of you, right? You have to make that effort. So what do you think you've done right over the course? What are things that you feel you made mistakes on that, this is not how we should go about it or anything?
I guess there's so many entities, or like, for example, with Women in Makam Bhayo and then like Duluwa Outdoors Pani Bhayo. I think those are the two pivotal point where we were seeking for mentorship. Like, I guess with Duluwa Outdoors, say, what has worked for us is more about creating like genuine connections and then like tapping onto those mentors or because when we first started, we had a very humble beginning. We were not like, oh, bang we create a big community. We were just like testing out the market, and we used to always talk about our work in a sense as if it's our passion project. Like we want to do this, like why we want to do this, whatever. And throughout this journey, of course, there's so many things that hasn't worked. Outdoor ko scenario ma chai, people with power are still like men, okay? And outdoors or tourism ko sector ma, let's say when we're looking for like funding ko lagi or grant ko lagi, sponsorship ko lagi, and mentorship ko lagi, of course, some are available, some are not, but then to tangible support, jun huncha ni, त्यसको लागि चाहिँ they are most like men in power, okay? So it's hard to find feminist men or bhansuma. Either it can be like women lead ko situation or Duluwa Outdoor ko situation, like mentorship ko kura गर्दै mentorship ko लागि चाहिँ हाम्रो भ्यालुज सँग align हुने feminist men हरू पाउन, feminist allies हरू पाउन चाहिँ अलिकति गाह्रो छ, okay? Because you're just trying to explain them why it's important. We're not just asking them for money, be like, ल तपाईको म लोगो हाल्दिन्छु हाम्रो ट्राभलरशिपलाई सपोर्ट गर्छु भन्ने मात्रै हैन नि त. It's more about why they should support, and our answer is why, because it's like a women-led business, it's for the community ko लागि ho. If you just like provide, let's say 10,000 rupees मात्रै provide गर्नु भयो भने, this will support this एउटा scholarship for like one day, one person को one day को expenses हरू cover हुन्छ, or like 5 days को उसको like transportation or accommodation cover हुन्छ हैन. But if that person doesn't see like this value in women हरूले किन travel गर्नु पर्छ र केटीहरुको लागि मात्रै किन र हैन, if केटीहरुले पे गर्न सकेको छैन भने बरु you should open this opportunity to everyone भन्ने यस्तो cross questioning पनि आएको छ कि हामीहरुलाई. अनि that's not the thing we want नि त. So त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ I guess patiently just like waiting for the right target, if one person gives us this connections over, like maintaining that, like exploring options. So I guess it's more about that. But yeah, finding like a very value aligned partners is very difficult. Nepal, especially with Duluwa Outdoors, we have a very specific needs, what we want, and more financial, but it's more about like mentorship, supports, but financially, value align main say if it's very difficult working because we have like dropped down few projects because we just didn't align with that person. That person was willing to give us like XYZ amount of money, but then we were like, we can't sit with this person for one more meeting. Right, so right. Yeah. I think it's better be like, हामीसँग fun now. So, if we cannot even have like a chat, are
there people whom you've reached out explicitly just for like support? You know how you early on you brought about your options, which opportunity should I go for? So has there been cases where you're just like, oh, this person can help me, or, advise me on how to go about it, right? Because this person has had experience or is a senior person in this industry. Have you all done any that kind of outreach?
I think we've done more on like a personal level ma. Like for example, if I have to give a few example of like Satya Media Arts Satya Media Art like especially like हाम्रो सुरज साके दाइ पनि हुनुहुन्छ हैन. So he's been with us since like हाम्रो 2019 को Duluwa travel podcast को phase देखि न. He's been there in a sense that he's been mentoring us के like उहाँको चाहिँ the value he has aligns with, you know, he knows like our passion projects or के हो भनेर हैन. So पहिला चाहिँ Duluwa Talk start गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ he used to like support us with like editing or okay. He even like gave us this like a presentation of like के गर्नुपर्छ podcast गर्दाखेरि भन्यो हैन. अहिले Dula Outdoors open भइसकेपछि पनि like we are collaborating for like different projects.
I'll just interrupt here, right? So let's say
Suraj Dai ko Satya Media Arts.
Suraj Dai, right? How did you like, you know, he's someone who's been helping you throughout, right? How was your first meeting when you guys met him, and then how did you all go about asking for help, or is it something that just happened like naturally? Like,
yeah, I think it's much the fact that it's 5 of us in the team really helps, okay? And 5 of us from like diverse community, and then 5 of us with the very strong personalities already. I mean, like we're all very like well connected people already. So we always like bring in our community, bring our network, and then like see where it goes together, okay? And when we go to like events or when you oh my god, Duluwa Outdoors Japanese okay? Because we're in need of it, you know. So when we go to like networking events or and then we find someone interesting, then that's how we like connect with them. For example, with you also we met in the networking event, right? And then like you saw us, you knew about us, that's how we got connected, right? And then we came here because, okay, this is like a space for us to like promote about our work, right? And with, let's say there's like a Manjusi trail, I'm running with this, like couple of, days there like someone asked us, oh, do you have like volunteers? And we were like, yeah, we have some like female guides that can support as a volunteer, but can you also have like a stall for us where we can like promote about our Duluwa Outdoors work? They're like, yeah, happy to do that, you know. So I guess sometimes most of the time Nepal ko case ma euta koi chineko mancha bhane it's easy to like make that first
so I guess
connection.
It's about like networking and putting yourself out there to take that opportunity, right? Like all the like to be very consciously very active about it for things to happen, right? Like doing that thing.
Yeah, definitely. And hamro pani like recently we have also started like working with international clients as well. For a long time we were halting that pani हैन कतिजनाहरुले चाहिँ we were coming to Nepal for a travel, we'd love to have like female guides हरु तपाईहरुको हामी लग सक्दै भनेर तर हामीले चाहिँ हैन हाम्रो टार्गेट कस्टमर त नेपाली बोल्नुको लागि भनेर हामी 2-3 एक वर्ष चाहिँ we didn't entertain those queries or we would connect them with individual women guides or something. But then when we realized, be like, okay, that's a very good like market ho ni ta kinabhane hamroलाई पनि we want female guides हरु हामीलाई चाहिरहेको हुन्छ. So why aren't we like actually giving that service भनेर चाहिँ so now we are like moving in that spectrum as well. And हामीहरुले explicitly हाम्रो social media promote नगरे पनि it's been like word of mouth हरु हैन. So त्यहाँबाट पनि like networking हरु भइराछ के like referral बाट पनि आइराछ. So I would say हाम्रो लागि चाहिँ that's what works the best. Yeah.
Okay. So talking about Duluwa Outdoors, right? You started with Duluwa Talks and then it gradually became more. I think at the moment you've put Duluwa Talks on hold and you mentioned you're going to restart soon, but it kind of siphoned into Duluwa Outdoors, right? How did that happen? You were talking about travel stories.
Yes.
Do you remember how the idea was, now let's make more, let's help more women travel? When did that change?
त्यो बेलामा so I got like female guiding license, trekking guide license पनि I got like recently like in December ma. But त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ we had 3 जना like Shanti, Binita and Regina. They were like certified guides हरु हुनुहुन्थ्यो हैन. So पहिला चाहिँ Duluwa Talks को start गरेको first was because we wanted to bring out more travel stories of women, and second we also wanted to test हाम्रो working style, okay? Because as friends, of course, we like each other, but when you're working, it's a very different game ball. So we wanted to test that as well. So 1 year garyo. So deep down, we always knew that like, we wanted to have like a physical in-person activities hamla garna man thyo, okay? Because that's where the need was. So we were very strategic. And the first 1 year to heram kaam garam and mansele sunos Duluwa ko naamharu bhanera bhayo. And त्यसपछि we were like, okay, Duluwa Talks ko like 25 वटा episodes भइसक्यो. Let's do एउटा hike बाट सुरु गरौँ, एउटा poster हाल्दियौँ. I still remember हाम्रो फर्स्ट हाइकिङ पोस्टर हाल्दाखेरि हामी एकदमै कन्सर्न भएको थियो कि मान्छेहरू आला कि नआला बिकज देयर आर कम्पिटिटर्सहरू हु विल अफर लाइक सिमिलर काइन्ड अफ सर्भिसेस इन चिपर प्राइसमा होइन त अब आइएम नट स्योर लाइक द एन्ड रिजल्ट के हुन्छ होइन अब सेल्फ डाउट आला कि नआला होइन हाम्रै फ्रेन्ड्सहरूले 1500 तिरेर आउँछ होला कि आउँदैन भने सेल्फ डाउट थियो आयो होइन गुड टर्न अप भयो त्यसपछि क्याम्पिङ पनि गऱ्यौँ होइन ओहो क्याम्पिङ मान्छे आला कि नआला आयो होइन ट्रेकिङ ओ माई गड ट्रेकिङ त इट्स टु मच अफ कमिटमेन्ट होइन 6 नाइट 7 डेजको लागि गर्ल्सहरूलाई हिमालमा लग्ने हामीले सक्दैन हामीले त इन्सुरेन्स गर्ने नि आउँछ कि आउँदैन भने सेल्फ डाउट थियो गरिदिउँ न भनेर फेरि ओहो दसैँ तिहारमा गर्ने कि बिचमा गर्ने कि होइन ओहो ल होइन गरिदिउँ एउटा साथीले होइन गरिदिउँ जे पर्ला बल्ल गरिदिउँ भनेर गऱ्यो त्यो पनि भयो अनि त्यसपछि बेला ओ आई थिङ्क सक्दो रहेछ we can do
and these
it.
were all paid, right? Where people were paying for it.
Yeah, everyone like it's paid. हाम्रो चाहिँ we put alikata margin and then like we post
no,
it.
I mean it's a business. You should be able to not put alikati but actually put a lot more margin where it's viable, right? But you didn't give that value.
Yeah. So that we did effort for a year and then positive we were like, okay, let's do. Then we became like very set on our calendar. Okay, so now we have like monthly hike, like English date go first Saturday. We have like monthly hike. That's like gender inclusive. So this which we do like camping. We do like trekking twice a year, and then we have like travel ship. That's our flagship program where it's more about sustainable traveling and slow travel. That's like Himal Pahad Tarai wala concept. Last 2 years there was a scholarship. This year this will be open for like anyone who can like pay, and there will be like certain scholarship. Eventually we want to go international as well because there are like few participants, or let's call them participants. They have come for our hike kolagi, they have come for our camping, trekking, and now they are like अब कता होइन इन्टरनेसनल पनि लगन भन्ने टाइपको के अब हामीहरूलाई चाहिँ अल्दो वी अलवेज से कि लाइक वी नेभर से कि लाइक तिमी डुलुवा आउटडोरसँगै ट्राभल गर हामीसँगै बस भनेको होइन बट देन लेट your first experience be with us, right? We might not be giving the education type को educational सबै नभने पनि we'll teach everything from like backpacking देखि लिएर you know trail को बारेमा देखि लिएर so many informations. So this is going to help you to like travel पछि गएर, okay? So going international is definitely in our plan.
But do you also, you mentioned international inbound tourists. So do you have also like these are all local women, or you have, if there are, it's mostly for women, right? So if there are, let's say 3 American women, just pseudo example, and they are traveling, do you also organize hikes, treks for them, or is it just all like locals right now?
So we have 2 approach. So first is like any event that comes from our side is like women led and women only, right? We can be like international women like any, but then like when whatever it comes from our end, except our hike, you know, because what we have realized is one night why we do women only spaces is like, let's say hamro camping ka, because I've also been to our camping, like all our camping, you know, the essence is the conversation, the essence is the community, you know, when we are all sitting like bonfire ma, like sharing our stories, that's what we are creating, right? And unfortunately kaile kahi when there's like other gender or like male especially other gender males are involved by it. See, I guess for many women I guess for me it's like I can put myself out there, I can like, you know, always like, you know, make sure my opinion is heard. But then for a lot of the women camping, so they're not comfortable neither. So if women are there's like this beauty where we can just like create that safe space. And we were like, okay, one night all our event will be women only. So that's our first approach. Second approach is anyone can come us, like Saloni, you can come to us and be like, oh, can you organize this like hike or camping for my friends or lagi? There's like men there as well. Or you can organize something for our mom or lagi. We're like, yeah, sure, we can do that. Lead gonna say women on like, you know.
But like for a customized
group,
first customized,
because the thing is like we'll always be like women led. Women only depends on our approach, but then women led say always, that's why we started, right? So that's the thing,
So, you know, you said, right, women led, that's how we started, but it's also an organization. You are all giving your time. Where do you think is this balance between running a social organization, but also running a for-profit organization, right? Because you're employing people, you all have 5 of you all, you're devoted to it. It gets so tricky, no? Because even with people, sometimes they'll be like, oh, this is like social impact, or sometimes someone else would be like, oh, you know, you're a profitable enterprise, how can you do that? So where is that balance? And like, you know, how do you guys tread upon it?
That is very true. Like, कतिजना हामीलाई भन्छ कि कतिजना आएर तपाईँहरू त प्राइभेट कम्पनी हो. I always thought तपाईँहरूको त अर्गनाइजेसन हो किनभने तपाईँहरूले त केटीहरूको लागि मात्रै गर्नुहुन्छ त्यसै भन्छ कि. And I'm like we can't be like making money and just like target on women only. So this philanthropy wala concept जुन छ नि like womenहरूले चाहिँ यस्तै like non-profit sector मात्रै काम गर्छ हामीले गर्ने भनेको काम भने एकदम दानीवाला हुनुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ we want to really change that because at the end we want to see like women in Nepal travel as an investment. Like you save up for it. That's the thing. Like you save up for it. How are we like really prioritizing? Just हामीले food को लागि हुन्छ कि अब आफ्नो clothing को लागि save up गरेर हुन्छ. त्यसरी travel को लागि save up गरौँ न भन्यो. Okay. And हाम्रो चाहिँ internally we're very clear about how we make money. I think that's where the difference. Our messaging, we never like fabricate our messaging so that more people come in. No. We have like we are creating a strong women community plus women guider community we are creating, right? We do have like meetups or like every meetups there's like a different need or okay. For some they might just want to like learn like better English. Like मैले December ma अस्ति जब trekking guide को license लिएको चाहिँ कतिजना बहिनीहरू पनि हुन्थ्यो कि they were outside of Kathmandu Valley को like सिन्धुपाल्चोकहरू हुनुहुन्थ्यो. Physically, they're so fit. Like, first time wall climbing gakoru and they just were mati. So strong. Physically, they're strong. But then, English bolnu paryo bhane, they're very like shy away. Like, mala aउँदैन भन्ने type. Okay, उनीहरूको need भनेको के हो? Guiding गर्न मन छ तर English बोल्न आउँदैन. So for them, basic English सिकाए पनि हुन्छ. For someone who has been in this sector for like XYZ year, like 5-6 years को लागि भने, they're craving for a community. The sharing they're in a place where they want to mentor these young girls. Okay? So how are we bridging the gap? Okay? So we are in a process of creating a long-term mentorship program for like women guides. Okay? And all the events are like paid. Hiking there's a charge, camping there's a charge, trekking there's a charge to it. There are like few programs really like free of cost. But the messaging is always about creating community. Ours is like outdoor, educations, and then community. Those threes are like ethos type kosa. So yeah, I guess internally, that's more important.
I was going to say this just reminds me. Last week I was at a session. There was a virtual session I was attending. A friend was taking it. She runs a not-for-profit in Bombay, but there's been a very clear goal right from when they started that they want to be self-sustainable, right? They don't want to do grants, they don't want to do funds, but they kind of take the community along and, cater to businesses. And they were just talking about today, what it really works for a business is if you have a story that can have an impact. Yeah. Right? Because people want to feel that, they've helped or they've given back. And if you can actually do something with impact that changes the whole thing. And that's like excellent marketing for you. So, don't think about the little margin, like I was saying, right? Think about like from it, the fact that it has to become like a big outdoor travel company and stuff. But the fact that your strong niche and your point is the fact that you're a profit-oriented organization, but also impact-driven, right? You're like making a change while making it financially viable to do it as well.
Yes, we are. I'm really cool because like trekking or like outdoor is a very physically tasking job. Like recently, Tilichoko trek ma pani ma gako thiye, and there's of course we want to support like as many women guide as possible, but then there's so little धेरै जना पनि हुनुहुन्छ फेरि थोरै जना पनि छ and then season ko बेलामा चाहिँ it's so hard to like grab on the good ones. Okay, so I went to the recent one. And it's a lot, like physically you're like walking for like 7-8 hours.
I've done Duluwa,
right, 15 kilometers. And me and my co-founder, we went like Shanti and we were like, kina gara so iti, like why, like are we doing it? And then Rati, every night we have like reflections. Okay, so what worked well for you today? Like how was the experience? When every night we do reflection, okay, and those moments where they share their takeaways or okay, like how they felt. It's not always good, but at the same time, everybody has their own takeaway stories. And so far, it has been good. And like ekarkale support गर्ने or like first time trekking experience bako, and they just felt something like we see the same mountain, but everybody feels different. Like just looking at that mountain, so the stories are sundaheri चाहिँ म र शान्ति were like, यस्तो सुन्दाखेरि चाहिँ we feel like we're doing something होइन धेरै प्रफिट नआए पनि we're doing something and आफूलाई गाह्रो भए पनि गरिरहेछौँ भन्ने हुन्छ. So like rightfully what you said, like it's more about listening to the positive feedbacks and then just like moving forward and just like knowing that it's going to take time.
Yeah. You mentioned you have 5 co-founders, 5 of you all, right? How has that as an organization been, right? Having 5 co-founders as leaders with people reporting, who has taken the helm? How do you all split your roles? And how do you all go about it? Because it's a lot of people for level 2 to report to, right? So how does that work in an organization?
Thankfully, like we have everything written on paper. I think we were always like very clear about that. Be like, okay, we are all bounded by our friendship. But at the end, like this is a business, right? It's not about what works for me. Like malai chai ke thik lagcha bhanda pani Duluwa Outdoors lai chai ke thik ho bhanera. I think that's just in the center of everything we do. And like you mentioned, like 5 can look like a mess for some people, right? But for us, like there's a very clear delegation of our task, our roles are.
So who does what? Like
Binita and Regina, they're like not based in Nepal right now. So they look after like looking for opportunity, like grants and other supports or like virtually whatever is possible. Me, Shanti and Juliana, we are based in Nepal right now. So I look at mostly for like marketing outreach and social media. Juliana looks at the business side of like creating business proposal. Shanti looks after the outdoor program. We have an intern for like social media. We've recently hired a program associate who looks after like executing our programs or calendar, because a lot of the times we have a calendar, but then the admin and logistic tasks takes a lot. And then because we also have so many external queries about creating packages for potential clients working with like other NGOs, and when we have like foreign queries or as well. So although we're like a small team, there's a lot happening, and I think we have very clear sense of like who does like what. So I think that helped a lot. But of course we have our own conflict and like things sometimes be like, oh, this is urgent, but I was not expecting this to happen. So just understanding that we're human at the end of the day. Like personally, we have our own, some have like their own full-time jobs. Some are like studying, I also went for my study like that. 1 year gap. Someone is studying right now. So it just like sometimes being empathetic, be like, okay, it's okay. You need a time for a year kolagi, but here's XYZ things you can do remotely, whereas I can do these things, Aru. And then we pay ourselves accordingly. So I guess that really helps. So we don't feel like, oh, labor gareko bhanda pani we are getting something in return. I think that helps. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned, you have like interns now, you're having a program coordinator. If you don't mind, how many employees do you have right now?
We have 2, like as a staffer, and then we have like 2 to 3 like female guides, they regularly lead our hikes and trek.
Right.
So we would love to have more if there's anyone.
How have you gone about like now? And it's an all-women team.
Yes.
So how have you gone about like finding people and then hiring and choosing the right people? I mean, I know it's still a few, but even still finding these
I think it's
guys
all about like time, like especially with 2 of our guides, like Sandhya and Santoshi. They've been like working with us for like a couple of years. I think it's been like almost 2 years that they have like led hamro hiking, camping and trek. And we're very clear about who's going to lead the hike and who's going to lead the trek and camping. There's a clear clarity on that. And it's also because we don't see it as them only working for us, they are also like adding value to like what we're doing, and for them why they choose to work with us is also because we provide them like the job opportunities, they're part of the bigger circles. It's about the friendship, it's about the sisterhood as well, right? They have also given us so much of their network to us, and we have also like opened the space of like network to us. And it took some time, because let's say 2021 ma yahi kura sochदाखेरि, oh my god, सधैँ हामीहरूले त ट्रेक र क्याम्पिङ लिड गरेर हुँदैन, कसरी staff hire गर्ने. We were like always similar, but then and हाम्रो लागि चाहिँ more than skill, it's about again like you need to like really believe in our mission and vision. Okay, it's more important. I mean, skills are like guide ko license or you can just like learn. Like like social media ko pani, I can just teach you how to do things. You learn a skill set, but then if you're not gonna share the same story about Duluwa Outdoors, like we co-founder same level ko tuna saka gare huncha haina, but then like very believing in the thing.
How do you interview for values?
Oh, we like test them. Like,
yeah, because you're saying, right, you can teach, you'll get someone, maybe you'll train them and you'll teach them the technical skills and they might be fresher and you're asking questions. But what kind of questions would you ask to interview for values? Because since that's like the core, what you're hiding for, right? You said people sharing the same beliefs, same values. So far, see, we've been lucky in a sense that we've known some of them, right? Okay. For example, with the intern and stuff, intern ko Baini she is also part of like Women Lead. I've seen her like work before, and Oily Ambrosian program associated Sejal. She was the very first one who went on a Langtang trek, okay? So she was one of the participants, and later she went on like few treks on her own, and was about fresh graduate in Bhagwatyu. So she knows how we work, and then we are happy with like what she's doing now. And then of course it's a trial period, pani kaile error pani huna sakcha. But I guess we have come to a conclusion. It's okay if people have like a different opinion. Polar opposite. We don't want someone who is be like, I am not a feminist type of person. We don't want on board. But then it's okay, like, if we have like different view. But then you should like very like deeply understand why we are doing this match, okay? Because it's very unfortunate, because of course we have had like people who really supported us in the beginning, okay? Some of the men who really supported us beginning when we were just like thinking of these ideas. Maybe they thought that of course we'll support you, okay? But then once we like things really started to kick off, they started to show their true colors. They were just like, women only we support everyone, like I'm a humanist, I'm not feminist type of person, okay? And then that has a very sad feel, but again, we have made peace with that. Could be like, oh, it's okay as long as they are providing us the resources, they're nice to us, that's good. You don't really have to like really corely understand, but then the essence is very important, right? Like you said, it's really hard to like measure. Time will only tell. But I think you can tell. Yeah. No, I don't know, man. I feel, when I'm interviewing, sometimes, like...
They fake it, right?
Yeah, they fake it. And sometimes, gut feeling, but there are times where your gut is confused and you just don't know based on, all the questions you are asking.
Who is the
value system, unless, when they are 1 month into the job, right? Then ki match huncha ki hundaina, right? But is that like that interviewing and that hiding is so hard? Like, I don't know, I feel like most of us entrepreneurs struggle with it on how to do. And if you can crack hiding for values, then you've cracked the whole game, right? Because you can train them technically. Right? The values is not something you can train them, right? That's like core. So,
and then like one more thing, like values, like something as simple as a commitment pani. It's so, of course, Nepal ko travel is very seasonal. We have had so many people back down on us, because they got like better opportunity. And for us, it's like, and we should be like, oh my God, next time we should like sign like a contract. But we were like, contract is signed if that person is like,
doesn't happen.
I said I'm going to go for this trek with you, but then something else came in, so I'm going to go. We're not going to be like, we're going to hold you accountable legally. So I think what we want from our guide community is also that commitment. Okay? Of course, there will be like a better opportunity. Of course, there will be like someone that's going to pay you more than we do. But then if we are asking you something, let's say 2 months me free too, and she's like, oh, I'm free too, then we sign, then you should be free for us. But then there has been so many times when they get like someone who pays them more. And very unfortunate, but I wanted to say it because we work with like Nepali women or Sangapani. Financially also it becomes garo, okay? Because of course, let's say you're a guide and I'm also a guide. Malai Duluwa Outdoors this check ma jao bhanyo you're gonna get paid the date wise, like per day timle kati huncha त्यति पाउँछ, and you go with like a foreigner team सँग जानु भएले there's only 2 जना रे, it's the same, like let's say per day ko how much you're getting, per day I'm getting is same, but then there is a high chance and most likely you'll get a tip,
and you'll get a much bigger tip.
Haम्रोमा tip पाउने पनि there's no guarantee because it's just like a trip, just so local केटीहरु अनि त्यसले गर्दा so many people don't for guides also it becomes very difficult because I know that from their point of view they're so many personal reasoning. Of course, like I'm young. If this is gonna feed my home, why not? You know, and
probably need the money. So,
yeah, exactly. So
definitely
that's
need
where
it.
we also be like,
Yeah.
and then we don't want to shift the conversation to be like, I know lampani like queer. Then what happens to these like women or who wants this community? And so we don't have the right answer for it, but I guess it's just about like balancing. It's very difficult because I know where they're coming from also, but at the same time, I know what we want to do is do.
Both sides,
so I guess it's about time. But that is a very big issue because that's why like so many people are still like, Nepalहरूसँग काम गर्न खासै मलाई लाग्दैन एउटा queerहरूसँग it's रमाइलो and I'm like I get what you're saying, but we have to change the narrative. Because I'm like, the narrative change because of course, I get irritated when I go trekking and I hear like this men Nepali dajubai didi bahinihru pura loudspeaker bazairachha, you know, like running shoes there trekking garachha, and it's not safe at all. The way they are like holding unharko bag and trekking pole, like, I so want to go and tell them like, guys, you might like made your trip safely gone, but then if you really want to travel long run, this is not like nice, no? So gone so I hope that's gonna change.
So you had Duluwa Talks, which you guys are reviving now, right? Yes. Looking forward to that. There's Duluwa Outdoors, and recently you launched Duluwa Books.
Yes. Duluwa Diaries, right? The book that you launched. Tell me more about it. So Duluwa Diaries, it came from our passion project. That's like road travel ship. So how travel ship is different from other programs that we do is this is more like based on slow travel and more focusing on like staying with the community and like really local interactions, immersive learning. Focus. So there's like Himal Pahad Tarai wala concept. Last year, like 2022, we started. So it's been like 2 years that we have done it, and for the first 2 years it was scholarship, right? They just had to pay like commitment fee of like 5,000 rupees, whoever got selected. So there was like a whole application process. We were able to do it with the support of a grant from like Purposeful, is a global organization. Anite collaboration ke belama 2023 ma we collaborate with Sethia Media Art because this is like a story, right? Like there's not much like travel stories of like women's or अघि कन्भर्सेसन गरे अनुसार जस्तै अन्जन फिजिकल पेपरमा त छँदै छैन नि त एन्ड वी आर लाइक वी डु हेभ लाइक भिडियोजहरू हामीले पब्लिस गर्छौँ बट एज वी आर थिङ्किङ अबाउट हाउ डु वी क्रिएट समथिङ ट्यान्जिबल भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ वी वर लाइक ओके we want to create this book, and then Sethia Media came in with such like a partnership and collaborations. One of our participants, she's the main illustrator and brain behind it. Her name is like Krisha Joshi. So she was one of the 7 girls who went travel ship with us. So we went to like Boroli, Buzung, and Manangako Tiwami last year. So the story is from her point of view, right? Someone who was like born and raised in Patanma, ule चाहिँ कसरी यो 6 जना नयाँ गर्ल्सहरुसँग कसरी चाहिँ उले घुलमिल गर्यो and what was her learning, and this is like illustration के सबै illustration.
And for what age group is this?
Any.
Okay.
It's like Nepali English mix.
Starting from
we are going to read probably like 13, even for like 13, 14, like as long as you can read it. And it's very interactive. Okay? Interactive in a sense, it's colorful. There's pictures. Like, even if you might not to like Nepali, but you can just like sense understand it. You know? So I guess it's more about, we hope that it will encourage more women to like travel, right? Although it's not okay, this is the way you should travel, but then it's someone's story in that travel ship, like traveling with like stranger and like what she learned from it. So to your point of view, we want more women to like travel. It's available. If you want the book, you can get it in Sethia. Right? You can DM them, and whatever from all the purchase that's going to happen with this book, this is going to help upcoming 2024 girls. Because I'm a scholarship we're going to have like some slot for like scholarship. So whatever money that will be raised from the sale of this book will be used for that.
Is this something like developing like a Duluwa ecosystem? Like what is your long-term thought process?
Yes, our long-term thought process is like we really want like women to just like start investing in travel. Long run, we
more
see
with the company. Like I know the general impact is that we want more women to travel and stuff. But with the company, what's your thought process with Duluwa?
I think with Duluwa long run, we really see ourselves going global, right? What we want is we want like. People are like thinking, okay, my hiking's on, so I want to go to like trekking. I want to go to like camping. Like who can I reach out to? Okay, Duluwa Outdoors. eventually we want to create like info lab type of thingy as well, where because there are so many like informations are missing by rounds and all those like blogs are available by it's all written from like the foreigner's perspective. Nepaliहरूको vlogs आउँदैछ हैन, videos आउँदैछ, but then like in written informative way ma, although there's like Nepal tourism board, there's very like gap or unless you know someone within the network, you can get very quick information. There are some people, they might like gume information. So we do want to create like an info lab kind of thingy where Duluwa Outdoors will act like a resource, right? So we even had this idea of like Duluwa verified hostels or Duluwa verified like locations or which one is like safe to travel destinations or safety ko hisab le, and something like that. We've been thinking when we say we want to go global, we do want to have like more international trips as well. We have had conversation with like potential investors who want to collaborate with us, not just have Duluwa Outdoor based in Nepal, but then abroad as well. That's something we never thought of, but then I guess never say never. You never know what's going to happen like in next couple of years. So I guess that's our plan.
Yeah. I have a few questions on entrepreneur, right? You started with a job, right? You were doing digital marketing and branding and moved on to becoming an entrepreneur and running a company, right? How has that journey been from you? Like from working for someone to working with people and have people working for you? And what has been like, have there been challenges becoming an entrepreneur? Because you're also someone who doesn't come from any family community around who are entrepreneurs, right? So that entrepreneurship support system is not there, right? And I don't know about your co-founders if they have, if one of them has that support system or if they don't. So how has that journey been for you all from like, getting from doing jobs to running your company?
So randomly on Instagram reel ma dekhate ke like this, you are living like one of the dream, like all of us are living at least one of the dreams that we have dreamt of. I just like randomly saw like this Instagram reel, and I was like thinking, oh my god, I'm living so many of the dreams that I've once dreamt of, like like going for like my master's, like starting my own business, like finding this like network of people I can lean on. I've like really fulfilled some of my dreams, and I think it gives me the validation just so like, okay, it's not just my journey from holding like one job to being an entrepreneur, but then just like from my upbringing to till now, okay, because I think it just like metaphor use garte ke, like I was like born and raised. When I was like born, it was just like एउटा room. We just had like एउटा room मात्रै थियो. There was like kitchen in there.
In Bandipur.
Yeah, Bandipur. And like I think Kathmanduमा Samokusimas, because more and my sister, we were like born and raised in Kathmanduमा. And just एउटा कोठामा थियो. We didn't have this like सेतुवाला थिएन, like those like bulb वाला थियो कि हाम्रो घरमा. Like I think when I was, I don't know, probably like 5-6 years old, like my very childhood memory came. So from there, like एउटा room, but then we had like दुईटा room, हैन. त्यसपछि we had like a flat, हैन. Still घर चाहिँ छैन मेरो, but then like a rented flat, हैन. So त्यहाँदेखि नि I think it just like the growth देखाउने कि अरू मान्छेहरूलाई चाहिँ I think they see growth. Of course, there's academic growth, there's professional growth, so many, हैन. अनि मलाई चाहिँ बच्चामा हुँदा I used to just see my room as such a growth, just like because I think till I was, I think like even like मेरो bachelorमा जानुभन्दा अगाडि, like I never had my own room, right? I know some people don't even have a house, but I didn't have my own room, like the privacy, there was like nothing was there. And then अहिले UKबाट फर्केर आउँदाखेरि I had my own room, right? So कहिले त्यो रूममा बस्दा I used to be like, oh, not even thinking about being an entrepreneur or anything. Just like being in that room, I used to be like, oh, like, there's like a growth. And then not just my growth, but then like my family growth. Like that's one thing. And when I really go to these panel discussion or like have a talk like this with you also, it makes me feel like, oh my God, like, I am making an impact. I think it's a very emotional thing for me also like to talk about it.
It is very inspiring with everything you've done.
Yeah, and then I think it just gives you the validation. Sometimes I don't want to like keep looking at these validation only because why? Like who am I proving it to? But it's really sad that I'm still trying to make a point. Like it's still sad that I'm seeking validation. It's still sad that I wanna feel worthy. Yeah. It's still sad, but I know that I do acknowledge the growth. Yeah. I do acknowledge there's more to do, not in terms of just like achieving, but then I've just been like 30. There's so much more I can do to like support the community, and not in a because it's like, oh my God, I need to like support myself just like so. But then I've just realized that, for me, that's just what fuels me, okay? Just supporting the community. That just makes me alive.
Yeah. But I know a lot of people, including me, who still seek validation, right? There's again that conflict in your head. One part is like, oh, it's wrong, why do you need it? But the other part that still thrives on it and doesn't let it go, right? And I think that's for most people. If I think about, if you had to say, what was the biggest challenge you're facing as an entrepreneur right now? One or two. What do you think? Like something, I might not have the answer, but I kind of just want to know, like, what would be the biggest challenge for Duluwa at the moment?
I think being a young women entrepreneur, if I have to be very specific, of course, it's about the network sometimes. Sometimes you just want to find the right collaborator and supporter. And I guess the fact that we are like 5 young women, sometimes we have our priorities different, okay? Like especially when you get married and like when you're planning to have kids and stuff like that. But I must say it's very difficult to like fully commit, okay? Like when someone asked me, oh, what you would have done differently with like Duluwa Outdoors like 4 years ago, I would have said that, I wish we would have gone like all out, like, it's very nice to explain, like Preeti Adhikari ji from like Nepal diaspora le अस्ति वाले भन्नु भएको थियो कि men have this confidence, they might just have an idea and then उनीहरूले चाहिँ like एउटा tissue paper लेखेर they can like pitch it, and for women we are just like so much like
it's like you all did, no? You had to first try it, test it before it went on to become a
refine
company.
it and then like share it type ko, and हाम्रो चाहिँ because त्यो बेलामा I was just like 24, 25 त्यो बेलामा नि त, and then you just feel like, oh my God, no, I should be doing job, like this is my peak year, like womenहरुको peak year is like the 30 वाला हुन्छ नि त्यो concernहरु हुने कि I guess that is like a challenge कि although not everyone might relate to it, but then as a young women entrepreneur, I think that's a very very sad, but then very like a traditional, but then very realistic challenge where you want to seek this financial stability, but at the same time, where do you draw a line of this like personal and what you're thriving for? And second is about definitely partnerships are okay, because the sector we are in terms of like outdoors and tourism, it's been just like so heavily male dominated. For someone like us, like हामी 5 जना मध्ये कसैको पनि आउटडोरमा त्यस्तो ब्याकग्राउन्ड भएकै होइन कि हो, सबैको ट्रेकिङ गाइडको लाइसेन्स छ होइन, तर त्यो पनि त्यो आउटडोरमै भन्ने लाइक छैन कि हामी 5 जनाको नि त. सो त्यसो भएर अब इमेजिन त्यो रुट चाहिँ अब ठाउँमा रुट बनाएर वी आर लाइक डुइङ के, एन्ड वी आर कम्पेयरिङ अर कम्पिटिङ, लिटरली कम्पिटिङ नै भनौँ, समन वी हेभ एक्चुअली लाइक एकदमै जडा एकदमै रुट स्ट्रङ भएकोसँग वी आर लाइक कम्पिटिङ के होइन. अल्दो आवर मार्केट इज लाइक डिफ्रेन्ट, बट देन वी हेभ टु गो एन्ड आस्क देम फर लाइक हेल्प एन्ड सपोर्टको लागि.
So if I sum it up, it's about partnerships with people for potential business.
Yes.
Partnership for potential business, right? For future business, that's one. And second would be guidance on how to take risks or finance. I wasn't really clear. So
I think for second one, it's of course what is guidance, but also sometimes it's just difficult being a woman.
Yeah.
It's just difficult being I guess being women, of course, there's a lot of like perks, and I'm not saying that take it as a setback, because but then realistically,
balancing out priorities.
Yeah, balancing our priorities, and it like pauses it. Like for example, like I just recently got married, right? And let's say if I'm planning for like a baby like next year and stuff, I just feel this like rush to be like, oh my God, 2024 is my year. This is the only my year. And for men, every year is their year.
Got it.
Yeah, every year is their year. Okay, they're not gonna like plan their career according to their personal life, but then all
for women,
5 of us, all 5 of us being women, sometimes that comes with that setback.
Got it. So that's a big challenge because it's an all women team, and to think about how can you all actually navigate this, right? So actually maybe guidance on how other women have navigated it.
Don't take it other way, girls.
No,
but then it's still like, sometimes it's like the guidance and just
I think it's not wrong what you're saying, right? I know most women, right? 9 out of 10 women would probably, and it's east, west, everywhere, they are struggling with, how does my career and my life go hand in hand without one compromising the other, right? And there aren't enough women to tell you that it's okay for this or this, or what is the best way, because you don't want to let go of any. But more often than not, you can't have it all at the same time. But how do you go about it? It's challenging.
And like understanding your priorities, but also like having someone to like
and not feeling that you have to compromise. No, the fact that for example, you want to have a baby, but why does work also have to stop, right? But how do you find the balance? I mean, this is the trickiest answer.
And also feeling like, oh my God, if I miss out on this, like, because I feel when I went like bachelor like 4 years ago, then I was say, oh, कोही चिनेको मान्छे पनि छैन, like like you've missed out भन्ने टाइपको चाहिँ feel हुने के. So it's just the pressure of being on top, just being updated, physically updated. Oh, ma यता इभेन्ट गर्ने मान्छेहरुमा बिर्सिन्छ होला भन्ने टाइपको. For women there's more, okay, because I don't know.
I can totally relate, right? Like I have been married for a couple of years. I don't have kids, but it's always I might not want it, and then that's a different thing. But it's also always that, how will the career work?
Exactly.
Right? Like where does, if something's like really taking speed, then you're like, but what if something happens? Will there be a setback? And the fact that I am privileged enough to have the help and the support system around that would help me. But there are so many things emotionally, physically that you yourself have to do. And then there's this constant doubt on whether you would be able to do it, right? How your priorities would change. Would you give it 100% justice?
Yeah.
So,
True, it's there.
Yeah. Okay. One last question. So I ask this on everyone who comes to my show as to who is someone else you would recommend to be on the show. Another female, but someone, hopefully that's come around, I get that person on the show, and why would you recommend that person?
Damn, I wish I saw the full episode. No, oh my God.
It doesn't matter. Just whom give me someone.
Give me some time. I have to really think.
It's okay. Take your time and think about it. Like whom you think. I don't mind, you could even come up with 2 names, but at least one.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh my God, there's so many. I don't think. Cola. Oh my God. Wait, can we cut it a bit more?
It's okay. It doesn't worry. Just think about it.
Think, oh my God, cool. Because I don't want to think of my friends or mate, but I'm keep on thinking about my friends or mate.
It doesn't matter who from your friends inspires you.
Oh my God, so many.
Top of your head.
So many, but blank out way the la. Or got the different. So the Akuman said the no such a so like someone unconventional. Oh wow. I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard from Rukshana in a long time. I think Rukshana would be nice.
Who is Rukshana? I'm not heard about
Rukshana Kapali. She's an activist, and she actively works for the LGBTQI community. And she was also in our solo travel year in 2018. She's a traveler as well. I think she's studying law at the moment, and she is quite active. I don't know why, because I haven't seen her around that much. Because in Twitter, I think. Personally, also, she had a lot going on with her house being demolished in Patanko area. So I think Rukshana would be an interesting one. There's Eura Baini, मेरो friend ko Baini. Her name is Rewati Karki. She has, I think she's physically disabled. I'm not sure if I'm saying the right term or not, but then she's doing amazing for what she has. And I think she has polio when she was born, but then she has a bachelor degree and she's actively involved in so many sectors. So I think those two would
Looking
be
forward to connecting with them and then gradually getting them on the show.
Yes, I think it would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Menuka, for being on the show today. I am fully inspired. I feel I've learned so much, just about how you've taken different opportunities, made the most of it. But, also just some insight on how you can see things, put things into perspective, right? About growth. Sometimes, right? It doesn't always just has to be in numbers and things like that. But, connecting the dots and looking at growth.
Thank you so much, Saloni. I had a good time as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
This show is brought to you by Vyasa Media Network.